hoàn toàn giải thoát khỏi những ràng buộc của chân và huyễn, siêu vượt danh tự và các tướng của sinh diệt và trụ, siêu việt đến và đi, lấy và bỏ. Thượng chính là cảnh giới tâm nguyên sơ. Chúng con xin dâng cúng tất cả, và qua đó nguyện chúng con được gia hộ để đạt đến cảnh giới Phật, completely liberated from the bonds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising sensation and abiding, coming and going, of formation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may we be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Ratna Mandala.
主办单位的代表已经为大家献上心意的曼达供养上师。接下来我们是皈依发心。
三界觉当作见觉南来将觉盘多大念教孙起大给金色金别算南见住了偏觉三见住不说三界觉当作见觉南将觉盘多大念教孙起大给金色金别算南见住了偏觉三界
诸佛正法圣众会直至菩提，我皈依，我以布施诸功德，为利有情，愿成佛。
By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
马南嘎达南北僧见当见德瓦当德维觉当德布仁主人杰东海当东海起觉当哲瓦人主人杰东海没变德瓦当门哲瓦主人杰涅林乔当尼查维当纽拉内布仁主人杰马南嘎达南北僧见当见德瓦当德觉当德布仁主人杰东海当东海杰觉当哲瓦人主人东海没变德瓦当门哲瓦主人杰涅林乔当尼当哲
愿一切众生极乐极乐因，愿一切众生离苦极苦因，愿众生不离无苦之妙乐，愿永离爱憎常住。
May they be liberated from suffering and the causes. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
常在瓦当觉见下瓦当解说也让故事经说罗也给我众生大给介绍他们些都被讲出
顶礼以及供养忏悔语，随喜功德敦请其诸事，凡诸为许善业总为圆满菩提而回向。
I dedicate it all for the sake of complete enlightenment.
萨西不觉出现没多张，日日为灵业你的肩膀的三界行度没得普外。这个南大行度就把说故所用作拉美错南来亲那上松的心你进去到了龙珠那是用些来拉美出给我做赞度说我们个人的王扎根
香水涂饰花朵铺满地，圣山四周日月为庄园，愿念佛刹一座供养故，愿诸众生受用清净土，景象三身圆满上师众，外内密三真如以供养，无吸受以无上殊胜成就其次语， Om
So the
Guru
three
Devata
kayas offer
Kini
the
Ratna
outer, inner, and
Mandala
secret offering.
Pratija
With
Soha.
body, wealth, and all that is visible, please
请转
grant
法
me
轮
the supreme realization and enlightenment.
三千南无三巴堂落叶切扎切德瓦切中推蒙推巴确见苦路果多所。
一切众生之思会根其不同而见
Please
之
turn the
共
wheel
与
of
不共
Dharma
大
of the
小
greater
乘，
and lesser
悉
vehicle,
请殷勤
and the
转
teaching
法轮。
according to the disposition and mental capacities of the sentient beings.
感谢各位讲座结束了，先给了各位人都人这边感觉仁波切也就南无前老子出军，假设前辈演的是没时间，马上假期。原人话人觉这边直觉这么没别了嘛，当把弄拉着人觉我真觉了不人在多说，多真讲完的了那罗的，慢慢的我考证几点。个人什么的在为了没事啊，这就那么一等就送了，说完的说到就成就了，现在俺到等把做上去，俺都忙啊，把点那么的。突厥人先特别让等把用在新年能老国家，这他当他们我们这王博当就是突厥说了小话切班。三界送了绕都西线对外就是我的单期间，特别去年不良的些。남가다 냠베 심제 탐제제 돈도 투자라는 메브라 양타브로 산지제 공부하다 바지네제 도버차 디제도 그노 넘버를 타베 셈버쇼 텔란들 간식 셈버셰웨 추 지름바 네 탐주 공부지베 용대 임바레다 다 탐주 공부지베 용대라 네 리우 선한다 촘선한 능여와 다 디나네 네 듬바테레 다 찾아 지금 나된 경우도 제가 있나더니 뭐가 되는 거다. 나된은 전루도 전에 리우 산지 사이 촘디 뭐가 자고 그래 좀 생각 산지기 공방 도야지도 뭐 연구여와 어떤데 인도 전에 리우 산지 인 손발에 다 대시वर 집에 가브레
In order to benefit for the asvas as like the sky, the
为了
sentient
利益
beings, that is
如
asvas in
同
the
虚
sky,
空的有情众生，
and try to attain the
为
Buddha
了
in
利
order
益
to
这些
benefit
众
for the
生，
sentient
愿我
beings, which
迅
is
速
asvas
成
in the sky.
就佛果，以利益如虚空的
And
众
we
生
have。here now, like the 7
那我们在正法一义共起这里总共有7个要义品。那我们今天已经到了第7的品了，果位
the fivefold path of Mahamudra,
回
then
向
this comes
品。
under the category of the dedication. Why? Because all sentient beings actually intend to attain the Buddhahood, and that is the resultant state of all the sentient beings. So therefore, it is like the final stage, or this is the
那在大小印的最后一支就是回向支呢，为了利益有情呢，那就是要回向那个圆满成佛。所以呢，这个果位品呢，或者是回向品是最后的一个部分。
ane peche yung parachewaji ngarang su lola robsji da shar tobaji chungyure te indu zane tenen di yung de tenen jikten sumgonge chumta yendamin seyachi da kechachi yungruwa ni ngarang su rong gaju ge chumta rewe yana gaju pa ge chumta rewe tenen samsamdela tabo gaju ge chumta chemo sentene sungundwa te indu zane dan di yung de chumta yendamin seya tolanga samuchi tangu yure te indu zane chidang getne da chumta sendu kasang tene dorsong 다야 공토와 지라 춤탄 짐바탐지 랑주바레 송소 춤타 따징에 춤탄데 거기 춤탄 데레스네 텐데게 성난 짐바지 유바이나 대대네지 당연히 모티바 세야의 찬우레스 모티바 스두자네지 남바 마인 바튼도 세게 말 남바 임발라 모티바 임바용 시게 고지 성난 짐바 세게 모티 세게 대인도 자네 드링 하랑 저기 다지 춤탄 데레지 나조 공지 춤타이 나조 데네 지금 좋은 가지고 춤타이 나조 가지고 춤타이에서는 텐데게 로그나나 진신지 유바이나 다 텐데게 춤타데 니 공지 이종데 말에 송가래 텐데 돈에서는 나와이나 이종데 춤타 민 송가래 춤타 인더 민스 투어 텐도 자네 나 춤타 세게 선노 단단데 단다 공도 셰바난신이나 텐디 이종데 춤타는 문진지 유마레스 어떤데 송바래
So now when we talk about now almost we complete the Gongchik, and we are almost to the end here, and it is stated that this the Gongchik teaching is the tenet or the ultimate decision or the ultimate the philosophy. And there sometimes the people say that this is the great tenet of the Dakpo Kaji, or it's the tenet of the Kaji, or the philosophy of the Dakpo Kaji, or we have had in the past that if we have this kind of point, like if we grasp to the things that this is the only points of philosophy, then in this case, this is not a philosophy. And if we grasp this is the only philosophy or the tenets of the Kajupa or Dakpo Kaji, then one is known as the into the category of the like kind of Tirthikas. Usually Tirthikas doesn't necessarily means this is non-Buddhist. Within the Buddhists also, there are some kind of Tirthikas who hold this kind of the supreme idea that, and grasp to that. Then this grasping is people who have this kind of grasping within the Buddhists, also known as the Tirthikas. So therefore, if you think about this, this kind of idea, then these teachings, the Gongchiks, doesn't belong to this category. It's not a philosophy. It's not a kind of the like a tenets. So this is what Lord Jiten Sungin wants to say that, and also like for it. Like it falls into the category of like the tenets of Sotantrika. If we have a grasping, then it's known as the like kind of grasping. Then it's not a like kind of a philosophy. As for the Lord Jiten Sungin, this teaching doesn't belong to any categories of the tenets. That's all.
Tene yang pena tumta se ya de yang 참상 도 선도 동나 지라 카레요레스나 지
那么这个今天的这个我们这个在共齐正法一几乎要讲圆满了，所以在这边我想对这个正法一共齐的有一个解释。有人认为是共齐呢是就近中门的这个思想，有人说这个是达婆噶举或者是噶举的无上的这个法教。 那如果说我们有这样子的想法的话，即这个为唯一的这个宗门思想的话，应该知道它不只是一种哲思。如果说我们把它放在达波噶举或者是噶举的教派里面呢，等于是把它放入这个框了，就是等于就是好，它今天是一个至上的一个思维，一个宗门思想，那我们就执着了这个，这也是一种这个高层次的这个执着。那么它并不是只仅限于一个被框成或定义成是宗门思想或哲思。因为吉田松公主是认为说，一切有所知就不是一个宗门的个思想。那吉田松公主是认为这个共其正法一并不属于任何的这个宗派，也就是说不是任何一个单一的宗派所以局限的。我想他要讲的是，因为这个是诸法的实相，所以并不能说有一个单一的分类法把它归类。
마임비 줌세 단지 공도 쉐바 단지 연구요 띵도 전에 참참디 좀다 맨송요래 참참 좀다 인송요래 내 띵인 가데베 손으로 진구로 띵도 저 મં거베 줌센데오데 단지 그 돈을 손으로 당고 있어래.
So now here on the other hand, sometimes it is stated that the Gongjik teaching is the tenets or the philosophy. So philosophy in the terms that when these teachings were like handed down from the master to the disciple, in terms of that the authentic master with the practice, with the meditation, then realize the ultimate reality of the causes and the consequences. So all the nature of causes and conditions, or causes and the consequences were well realized, then try to show what is to be practiced, what is to be avoided. So these things, then how to, if this is the case, with the understanding of the authentic master, realization of the authentic master, and then the showing the path towards the other sentient beings, what is to be practiced and what is to be avoided. Then if in this case, this is known as the great treatise or the great tenets or the philosophy. We can take it in this sense. And in one of the structures, it is stated there. And also this has been printed out now, translated and printed out by the Kashin Foundation. So for example, when you talk about the causes and consequences, with the causes of the practice of virtues, then you have the consequences of happiness. And if the causes is a non-virtuous, then the consequences must be not happiness. So this is kind of valid. So therefore, in this case, it is also known as the treatise. If you take this is the sense for what we mean by treatises and the tenets and also the philosophy, then this is the also known as the philosophy or the tenets.
那另外一面呢，共其也是可以说是宗门的这个哲思，由上师一代一代传下到弟子的，一个真实具得的这个上师了知究竟的这个真义，他了悟的这个因缘果的这个法则，跟我们分享在修行的过程当中，众生要如何来修持，如何来避免一些过患。那它不只是任何一个宗门，不管是说噶举派或者也好，有这样的一个思维。那对于这一点呢，有一个基金会已经把它印出来了。那因果法教导我，如果我们修善的话就会得乐，如果我们行不善的话，自然就不能得乐。
산제에서는 송영구로 산제 사이 그 산제 사이 이시에서 내가 그의 이시니라 근데 산제 송영구요래 디인도 전에 단단 디시니게 나네 단에 돌송 당부되기 산제 그 꾸인내서도 송영구요래 산제사는 내니남이 매서야 되게 산제 그 꾸인내서도 간대지긴 봐 다 대학 디송그 점센터부터 가르쳐 연구를 했는데 남중아랑 소지다 개발된 대신나인도 전에 산지기 거대라 zanyengi yewa nyin ro chen de shin nang yu re bena tendam gu ku chugu sin de zang de zi za chimbo tombo ro ji tombo yin kin ji kunzu gu ku zuku se in de zang ne tene yang ko ji ma da be lan shin yin de be son ro ji tene kar se gure jenga ne som yang yu be son ro ji de shin nang yu ro tin de zang dan den ji den song gung gi 산제 사이 꿀라 문에 제바이나 산제게 살아 군주그 거서야 지금 된담 그거는 상행기 예와니 요 말레스 산제 사는 데니남이 메스 좀세 가르치는 산제게 살라더니 그 상행기 예와니 요 말레스 인도잖아 되네 산제서야 돼그 제단 남주 추구도 수고스는 송그러와 된다고 되는데 믹스에게 유르크라는 게 돌아 그 장인이 매바 여바 많이 bar 산지 랑경 뭐더네 chanchup 선배기 람 냠숨랭도 자네 되네 군줍 chanchup의 샘 단담 chanchup의 샘스네 chanchup의 샘 얘기 냠는 tar친 나와와 띵도 텐데게 chanchup의 샘이고 되긴 대운 tar친 바 되라 군줍 chanchup 선근 대운 tar친 바 되라 zu고스는 생다 용구요래 단담 chanchup 선근 대운 tar투베기 전에 추고스는 맹다버를 마도베 되게 차네 되네 zu고서야지 멤버지담 추고서야지 제바동 파 같은데 이게 장 용도 말에스 근데 인자 산지사는 내니남이 매서야 되게 조구의 넘버 잡아대 송영비요래
So here the first verses at the stage of Buddhahood, the two truths are completely invisible. What it means is here, usually when you talk about the stage of Buddhahood, the Dhammakaya and the Dhammakaya and the Sambhogakaya. There are two forms actually. One is the Dhammakaya and the form body, and also the wisdom body. So when we talk about the form body and wisdom body, usually we have a notion is that the wisdom body is the perfect one, and when we talk with the form body, then it is known as like kind of the contaminated body in the sense of it. So this is actually there in our sense. But whereas what Lord Jigten Sungmin stated is there is no such kind of division on the stage of Buddhahood. There is no true truth. That's why it's completely invisible. So why is that invisible is that at the stage of Buddhahood, you cannot make a differentiations between the form body and the wisdom body of the Buddha. And what the Lord Jigten Sungmin stated is like when you're in the stage of the bodhisattvas, you have two different kind of the bodhicitta. That one is like a conventional bodhicitta, and the other is the ultimate bodhicitta. So then from the conventional bodhicitta, you get the form body, and the ultimate bodhicitta, you get the wisdom body. So this is how it makes a differentiation between the form body and wisdom body of the Buddha. Other than that, there is no difference between the form body and the wisdom body at the stage of Buddhahood.
第一季佛果境地二谛无差别。那么我们通常讲到说证到佛果的时候，等于是证到法身。那法身还分成两个部分，一个是色身。一般人认为色身是有染之身，就是像凡夫一样。那智慧身是圆满身。 那么，但是吉天松公祖师认为，在佛果上并没有这样子色身智慧身的差别，他的佛身并不见，二者也不能分的。所以，当我们在菩萨境界的时候，那当然可以有这个二谛，有世俗谛、菩提，还有圣义谛。世俗谛的这个就是果报，就是正德色身；那圣义谛的果报就是正德智慧身。那么是可以在菩萨的境界是可以这样子分的，但是吉天松光祖师认为，在佛的境界、佛果的境界，并没有这样子的分成两部分的这种讲法。
대난신도터네 카시에게다 산지게 살아 25야 요 말에서 강인서나 빵제게 리바탐제바 뽕 차와레 빵자 빵 차르드자네 드니 이시님보튼데 고야 요 말에 벤나 매 바르차와이나 신야 칭도레 신측 차와든 매양 존도레 대인도자네 고 메제 신세 dünyam든 준로와 나신도 빵제 리바당 님보 이시 탐제데 세송하레 된다 인도 산제살아 25야 요 말에서 네, 둘째 젠고라네 이 강라 강도 텔라 탭던 거 낭로그레스 메세기 산지게 살아 이 시스네 고야게 남자한테 요 말에 예스네 이시 매바 샤시는 게 근데 요바래 대인도다 텐소고 거텔라 냐메 감부베게 네 탈쟁게 나나양 그네지 개바 공마텐소 공방 가르메레스네 가르와 매바텐데 송제바 요레 대나진 종고 파모 주베기 땡름게 나나양 이시 유메도 송바텐소 공방 가르메도 송제 같은데 요레 다 강들양 단단되는 지된 송공기 산지게 살아 이시 요스네지 예배게 탈라송 데바 지당 산지게 살아 이시 매바레스는 그 첸탈을 송데바 텐데게 딱세게 타니데 켈레야 요 말에스 텐데 인도자네 산지라 이시 예매게 탈은데베란 신쟁기드네 이시드네 지레스 어텐데 인도 드네 진배이 신님인 다르 대송바래
지 단데 체험지 감보바 아니 샴바데 가르치 지 송송하나 봐. 지
아두게
아두
때는 시친 템베게 중지가 되나나 대양 배치 그만 줄사래 뎁즈낭 사다와 단다 가친 탭자는 전화는 그만 단줄 당부체래.
So here the second verse is
佛智二智不二离诸边。
from extremes. So why did Lord Jitendra stated that? Is that as we have had in the first verses that the Buddha's two form is like there's two reality. That is it's beyond the true reality. That is the conventional and ultimate reality. And also when we talk about the wisdom mind, whether wisdom mind is there or not. And some scholars in the past have stated that there is a wisdom when the Buddha is enlightened. And on the state of enlightenment, the wisdom should be there. The wisdom mind has to exist there. And some other scholars stated that there is no wisdom mind because at the time of enlightenment, the wisdom mind is exhausted. Exhausted in the sense like the fire. When the fire burns down all the like firewood, what happens is fire they themselves also burn down and finish. So therefore, there is no such kind of existence of the wisdom there at the state of the Buddhahood. So it is. So what Lord Jitendra stated is that even at the stage of like Buddhahood, the wisdom mind of the Buddha is existence and non-existence, and it is visible to the sentient beings according to their own like perspective. Whoever has a kind of the opportunities. So, and it is also stated in the Gampapas in the jewel ornament that the Buddha's mind is existence, and also like in the Pamadrupa's one of his teachings, the Tekchen Tenyin, the Mahayana's essence of the teachings, it is stated that the mind has to be existence. The wisdom mind has to be existence. Whatever it is, whether it is exist or non-exist, these are the two extremes that the Lord Jigten stated that whether if you say this is the existence, this is also extremes. If you say this is the non-existence, this is also one of the extremes. So what he stated is we have to go beyond that, beyond existence and non-existence. And free from extremes.
第二季佛智二智不二离诸边。那么为什么这样子说的？就像第一季颂里面讲到的佛地境界二谛无。那么在佛的所谓的佛的二身境，并不是说真实的二分，因为在佛果已经早就超越了世俗跟圣意的这种二谛了。所谓的正义智慧心，当时有些学者认为，当佛陀证悟的时候，应该是有智慧的，但是也有学者说是没有这个特别的东西叫做智慧身的，因为佛陀在证悟佛果的时候，就好像火把一切都消融烧毁。这边没有一个特别的东西叫做智慧。在这个阶段呢，在佛果的阶段，事实上佛已经超越了存在或不存在。那么这样子的二元的这种所相依的这种境界，不管是冈波巴在解脱全面宝论，或者是说帕摩竹包在大乘精要论，都讲到说应该有着这个智慧心，但是实际上呢，我们知道纯或者非纯就是二元的对立的这个分法。那所以吉田松公主是也在这边讲说，佛陀是应该超越这个二元对立的，也是免于二边的。
天就其实Juma yimbe wando tawa ina Juma tawi yingu yona Juchen la ten de bachi yingu re chachinchi niba de gargu re sana takche chena nya me ba Jume ranshin chenchi yingu re tenen samsam yowa samsam mewe ranshin ta tenechi yingu ro ko chechu sum ro changgu Juma tawi ina tenen sanje seya de sanje ge ko da yishi ninda chena ngara zo kunjub ge zudang sheba nanshin mare ten du zane pena ju la mena so yung gu wa sanji gi yön den xie yung zane ma che be yön den sna so yung gu wa hlun ji be yön den sna so yung gu wa tene jin yin la den to ma tu ba sna so yung gu wa den zane sanji gi yön den ta pögen ke be ge song dan chen na sanji gi yön de je sna so gu re la sanji gi yön de tu sna so yung re den zane kang dar ya ten de gi yön den tu am 제단 댕켄지가 산제에서는 소용도 자네 근데 텐데게다 느마 제바당 륜지 주바이나 주마다고 마인고요래 텐데인도 자네 근데 산제 겪거든 이 시든도 주마다고 줄에 양타바드는 대바지 연구레스 대인도 나라조 텐데게 산제 공반데 지금 응원도 출소와이나 근데 뒤나면 거고 땅 말레스 다 계속 주마다고이나 근데 배지 이시시라 제 매백의 윤도지 차로로와 대인도 자네 근데 주마다고 줄에 양타면 내바래 승대송바래
So here the third verse is
真正超于虚幻万法。
phenomena. In the first verses, it talks about the body phenomena, Buddha's body phenomena, and in the second, it talks about second verses talks about the phenomena of the wisdom of the Buddha, and in the third, it talks about both the body and the wisdom of the Buddha were completely beyond illusory phenomena. So it was stated in the Heart Sutra that the form is emptiness, and also the feeling is emptiness, and the sound, and the smell, taste, and so forth. and there are like kind of eight points, and also it comes like 7 points. There comes like in the 7th or 8th point is the wisdom mind of Buddha. Even the wisdom mind of Buddha is not existence, it's not illusory, it's beyond the illusory and so forth. And its existence beyond the illusory, and it's not illusory. So what the Jiten Sumin stated is that in terms of this Heart Sutra, it is like not the illusory body, and it is not actually like if that is the illusory body, then it doesn't have the causes and conditions, because it's an illusion or so forth. And it must be sometimes it exists and sometimes it doesn't exist. So this would be the case. So therefore, what Lord Jesus said is, this is not illusory body, and it is beyond that. And also in the same way, in the Uttra Tantra, it is stated that it is not the one we can produce it, and it's not something like we can perceive it. It's not something that it can be changed. So like there are different kind of characteristics. There are 8 different kind of characteristics which has been determined by the scholars, and also the 6 different kind of characteristics which has been ascribed by the scholars of the like Indian scholar. So therefore, it is not illusory body. It's not something illusions. It is the beyond that, and beyond the existence, and beyond the illusory body. But somehow, like it is the reality, La Sola. So that's why it's completely beyond illusory phenomena.
第3季真正超于如虚幻万法。那我们在这边的这个果位品呢，或者是回向品呢，第1季讲到佛陀的佛身，第2季讲到佛陀的这个智慧，第3季继续讲到佛陀的智慧。在心经里面我们讲到色即是空的道理，那不仅仅是色，声香味触法都是一样。那在心经里面有8点或者是7个不同的比拟来描写这个佛陀的这个智慧心，那它是超越实质或者是幻化的这种2元对立的，它并不是幻化出来的色身，因为这没有因缘，因为它是一个幻象。那么它有时候存，有时候不存，它也是超越的这个境界的这个状态的，它并不是任何人可以营造出来，却我们可以见得到，却没有办法去改变它。所以这个佛身有一个8个特德或特质。那么印度学者在当时也认为说，它不只是幻象幻觉，而是超越，不说它是超越这个如虚幻的这个万法。刚刚讲到的乌巴坦传应该是宝信论。
디엔디 흘러와다 멀어 타탐제는 데바레에서 양배 계정 통보된데 송로 요래 단 제된 송공을 다 가르 송거에서 단데 말에 산제세야 단다 공도 시에 심배기 고단 이게 랑신게 산제세야 돼 되네 다 모게 차네 코 예매긴 탈은 데바담 덴반이긴 예매베 랑신 되지 레도 요래데 이는 나랑 좀 늘자라 뜬윤도 자네 산제디 뒤따도 물르가 ngol judo yores 산제 두놈다도 셈을 주스 나랑 속에 드네지 대bat 지기 토네 차고도 산제라 산제 일을 템베 토네 드네지 차 죄밤 너는 산질라 땜베 개와 체중 간지지 싸바 있나야 산질이 뒤따도 슬로바메 병고를 주바 인도 자네 그는 간주 차진 세워 있나요 되는 덴바지 차 두그레 산질을 먹네 주바베는 매도 중중지 모두 부주만 해와 있나야 대야되는 배 되는 덴바지 차 두그레 좀생 가르치는 것은 산질이 뭐야 되는 배지 투기 탐자 나와 나신 제는 코르에서 이제 탐지에게 된도 두다고 준진 걸은 거 올라가는 주도요래 근데 인자 산지 드럼다도 세마를 주세야 대송바래 대인도 산지에서 해야 돼 연된 타입에 다니진지래 대송래
Now the fourth Vajra verse is, a Buddha dwells at all times permanently in valid cognition. So what it states is like, when we talk about the Buddha, the ultimate Buddha, it doesn't belong to a particular person or a particular name. Like, for example, we talked about the Buddha Shakyamuni, and we talked about the particular person as a Buddha. The word Buddha doesn't belong to a particular person. So whoever enlightens, then he becomes a Buddha. So, and here what is stated is that the real Buddha is one's own like the base mind, which is the Buddha nature. When this Buddha nature becomes purified, and in the very high stage, and the ultimate stage, then this is known as the Buddha. And for example, like when the sun is free from the clouds, or then this is known as Buddhahood. And sometimes here, some scholars, they said that the Buddha is something like free from all the fabrication, and it's free from valid and invalid cognitions. And they talk about a very big thing and so on. So that the Buddhahood is beyond all this conception, beyond all this, the notions and so on and so forth. But what Lord Jigten stated is, it's not just that. As we have stated in the past, like here in three forms, like the form body, Buddha's form body, Buddha's wisdom body, and so forth. Like, though through the nature, it is beyond exist and non-existent, but somehow, if we, the sentient beings, try to think about the Buddha, and even if we, do the prostration, we remember the Buddha, do the prostration. Even the smallest of the smallest flower, if we offer from the deepest of our heart, thinking that Buddha exists there, and we offer to the Buddha, then since the Buddha is the valid cognitions, it exists for all the time. Like the Buddha is there, and also the one who has who is endowed with all the phenomena, or endowed with all the qualities of the Buddha, and Buddha is there. So therefore, in the Vajra verse, fourth Vajra verses, Lord Jigten stated that the Buddha dwells at all times permanently in valid cognition.
对不起，这一季的讲解没有听得很理解，尽量吧。佛尊恒时住于正量中。那么究竟的佛是不属于任何一个人或任何一个名字的。佛陀并不是说这一个人是佛，只要我们证悟的就是说所谓的这个佛。那佛乃是我们心性的这个本质。那么我们自己即使进化到最高的等同于佛果。那么好像在这个时候，好像是太阳不再被这个乌云所遮住了，可以彰显出来。那学者认为佛陀的果位是离细论的，离一切源泉思维的。 那吉田松光祖师却认为不只是这样子，包括色身也好，智慧身也好，那透过他的这个本质是超越佛果是超越纯跟不纯的。那么我们要知道，我们在这个佛像前面意念成佛，或者是礼拜佛像，那这内心很真诚，这个小小的花朵给佛陀。那么那佛那这个住于这个正量之中，恒时住于正量中，在那里，那它是具足一切佛的这个功德的。那这一点堪布分的我不太清楚，他要解释的是什么？看看等一下会不会看前会继续解释。
多把节头没够可能因送送做没够的送送啊，电影的咱呢，他没够个套呢，但呢，穷山呢，没到几trăm个去把培养着哦，那个切山呢个给我了测试开用嘛，话电影的咱多那给外个我不刚前年就啥过的了，但呢，每些说那个错啥话使用的话，一些个错的帮家帮过来，然后说那个错的，但呢。가서는 저두고 요래 이제 전에 단에 람게 값수 님부 이식의 dob지고는 빵자 대문으로는 빵자 대마 세연도 단에 산지기 툭줄 나랑서 빼나 이제 심ချင်း값라 예배 대신 님부기 ngola 예배 산지기 연된다 가상 철친 연된게 단위 인송송 이제 전부 연된게 단위 인송 말에 근데 텐데게 연된데 딱 빵자파 자유인도잖아 연대인데 줄 문도 줄용 거요래 텐데기 연대인데라 자르의 연대인세 자유인데고데 먼저 당분은 가랑수 줄을 요래 연대인데 이내 빵자 마저와 인자 좀 문도 줄도 요 말에 단다 빵자 잔에 좀 문도 조용을 깝텔라 되네 자유의 연대인스 되잖아요 단 남민의 연대인세 인도잖아 되네야 지 초사 드바장 인도잖아 배나 올라 주도 샤블랑 콜로스 단음 중에서 산지긴 셈비기 연대기 시행구요와 tensu게 텐다지나 단도나 지금 셈비 연대에서도 장가지고에서 개요 말에 통는 이동하지 산지기 거든 제행도 전에 뇽몬벌로 탐지바 같은 gen지 산지기 거든 제행도 전에 대바당 잠바당 hin지라서 란신기 제토비하고 누바지는 거요. 때려 산지기 남hin기 연대에서요. 대지도 전에 단 제위니 차서 남행기 연대 자외 연대 써야지. 다 단단히 자외 연대 돌아가게 줬은 거로 대인도 다 예를 대시 주고대.
Now the fifth verses, Lord Jiten Sungin stated the maintains that the result of
离之果德为具智慧心。
So usually when we talk about these, there comes three kayas, and this the Buddha, the ultimate Buddha is endowed with the three kayas, and these three kayas are divided into two classes. That is the consequences, the resultant body, in two forms. That is the resultant body of the abandonment. So by abandoning, you have a resultant body, and also one is the body, which is the which is the ripening, which comes from the seed, and ripening from the seeds. There are two things. One is the abandonment, the state of abandonment. For example, when we are practicing so what we do when we are doing the practice from the very early stage, we try to avoid something, avoid non-virtuous deeds or something there. So this is known as the abandonment. We try to avoid some things. And also there is a certain point that we have a realization. These two things, abandonment and the realizations, these two things are the two things for the resultant state, the nature of the resultant state of the Buddha, that is the abandonment or cessation. We talk about the cessation, and also we talk about the realization. So like when you talk about the abandonment and cessations, like when you abandon something, like then you have you get the cessation, you cease to, and this is known as like kind of when you talk about the abandonment and cessation, this is known as the abandonment or the cessations. And when we talk about the realizations and the causes of the realizations, even like kind of devotion also will be the causes for the resultant state of the realization. For example, if you do some kind of virtue states and you accumulated the accumulations of the wisdom, and these two things, then also it is stated that on the basis of the Mahamudra, which is the Buddha nature, then finally what happens is when you abandon, then one is able to realize all the qualities of the abandonment, or all the qualities of the cessations, and all the qualities of realizations. And also when we talk about the realizations, the resultant state of the realizations is that when you see the Buddha, so there's nothing that which is not like pleasing to us. So whatever we see, whatever we see the nature of Buddha's body or whatever form of body, it is all from there are many different kind of Buddha's form, form body, from the crown of the head to the wheel of the feet, and so on and so forth. All this becomes pleasing, or all this becomes kind of so comfort or so adorable to see that. So this is how the resultant state of the realizations this comes like. And also we can talk about the resultant state of the abandonment. And also when we talk about the resultant state of the realizations, this is known as the one which is coming from the one's own the causes, the main causes, the resultant state of the main causes.
第五季离之果德为具智慧心。当我们提到这个佛果的三身，也就是法报放三身的话，把它分成这个果报身是把它分成两类的，一类是来自于出离心，或者是止，或者是灭，也就是说我们避免行不善行等等。那第二个是种子的修行的这个成熟的这个证悟的这两类。一个是来自出离或灭，一个是来自于证悟的。那么那个证悟的因呢，也就是包括很多了，有很多了，包括虔诚心等等。然后相对于果的这个对应的这个因等等，我们行善累积一些福报、功德、智慧等等。那这一切都建立在大手印的基础上，也就是众生皆具佛性。等到我们证悟的一切已经有出离以及灭，然后还有再加上的这个证悟的这个功德两边呢，我们见到佛身呢，等于见到佛陀的种种的本质或功德是非常让我们心生欢喜的。从佛陀的这个顶际长出的肉际，一直到佛陀脚底的这个法轮显现呢，都让见者欢喜的。那这个都是指出这个佛陀这个的果报来自于他的出离，或者是舍，或者是证悟的这个果报，而有这些现象。
Tindu Yesayag Tsidegi, Tene Chugi Ying, Tumbanite, Landeshi Jabure, Sungur Kashegi, Yesayadi, Chugi, Tumbanite. Yesay in the Tendegi Chugi Ying, Tumbani, Tubeg, Tadan Tarwa Te, Musu Shinkin, that Shasamashin, Musu Shinkin, Shasacheva in Musu Donkin, that Tendegi, Sarshin, Ripa Segura, Teladene. Yeshi Sanming Tavares, Tindu, Yesayati, Yurchuing the Landeshijab, Shemba Saindu, Te Tonkin, or Tendeinza, Yeshi Sayagi, the Shijatan Chitan Yumudova. Tangaran to Tene, Kaju than the Kunjin, Renzin Chuda Getene, Sung Tenson Nanda, Muyu Netotone, Yeshi, Sung the Sane, the Yesedusani, Chuings and the Shendachi and the Shijab. She is the young Telekaga, Shembachin and the Shijawa Tende, Yungu Mari. In the Yeshi said the Karasungus, Yene Yubegi Sheba Dela, and Yeshi say, Yene Yubegi Sheba. The Yene Yubegi Sheba Dela, young on the Shit, Sewundo Majoina, Mariguatea, Yene Yube Shembarova, Naransolo Marigo Tomaman Yurova, the Tisungu Mare. Maribade, Shinkin de Mare, Maribade, Machine Kendre. Maribas Mentarwa. Tanda ye she is in the Yene requas yatere. Naranzula Yene Yubig Ripachamaneva Tela, and ye she is hungry. This something in Nega Sanje Nega Sanyure. Teach you the Yishi Sayate Yene Yubig Shibatamameva. Then Jiden Sungu Sona Ripas and the Shenangua Ripasungu, Tin Telatani Yishi Sumbare. Then Yame Gambobagi, Dendro de la Carson, Tamalve Shiba Sundo, Tamalve Shiba Sudia, Shiba Tapcha de Sungu Mare, Majubi Shiba Tela, Sangaran Shintela, Tamalve Shiba Sundo, Tend to Tundachiware, Donna, Tenin di Tarven de Yishi Tujin, said Tangaranzo, Yishi, said the Munzinchitan Titon Samatan the Zane, Teni or Tarven de Wote, Yishi Ranshin, Sanjig Negos, Yishi Ranshin, Yuna, Tangaranzo, Simching Negosia. Yuntentu Yeshi Ranshin Bachi, Seucha Yungdoa, Casman, Yene Yubeki Shibati Ranshin, Mandebarwa, or teach it to Tane, then Tarvin Devu said Yeshi Ranshin, said that in the Jigotone, then also some tango will say.
So here, when we talk about the resultant state body of the abandonment or the cessations, like it is stated that there is no other than the wisdom itself, and it is actually like when you avoid the abandonment, then this is known as the cessations, or this is known as the abandonment. And it is the nature of the cessation, and it exists during the time the beings. Also, like for example, when you talk about the sentient beings, they have the sentient beings have the wisdom mind, the yeshe, and when we talk about the yeshe, or the wisdom mind, here the yeshe in terms of the Tibetan word has two different kind of meanings. One is like the from the beginningless time, and it is there. And the she means to understand or to know what, to know the nature which has been come down from the beginningless time. So therefore, it's known as the yeshe. So this is like for example, when you talk about this wisdom of the yeshe, we talk about the one which is able to realize the ultimate nature of the phenomena, that is the emptiness, and which is free from all the fabrications. And this is also known as the resultant state of the cessations. This is what they said. And here, when we talk about the Kajipa, especially the Rizin Cheda, said we means the from the beginningless time, and she means the mind which could perceive and which could understand. So then this kind of this kind of mind, ordinary mind, is known as the wisdom mind, the causes for the resultant state of the the cessations. What happens is when it is free from all the kind of abandonment, then it is known as the cessations. So then there comes a question, like, what about the ignorance? Because ignorance also there from the beginningless time. So then it stated that ignorant is ignorant and it's not a valid cognition. It is not like kind of a wisdom aspect because it's ignorant and it's not a valid cognition. So here the valid cognition means the one even at the time of the ordinary being, one have a mind, ordinary mind, which conceives and which understands in a very like a the ordinary mind which has been which has not been contaminated, like a pure or mere ordinary mind. So even the Gampapa has stated that the mere ordinary mind is the like the mind that is the causes for the ultimately for the resultant state of the cessations. So when one's ordinary person becomes the enlightened Buddha, then this is known as the resultant state of cessations. So therefore, this kind of quality of the Buddha mind is there during the time of the ordinary being. So therefore, it is possible that during the time of Buddha, when it has become free from all this kind of fabrications, free from the abandonment, then this is known as the cessations or the cessations. So that's why it is possible that it exists there, and it's known as the resultant state of the cessation. That's all.
我第一就在那他天天给他那
离之果德为具智慧心。那么果报呢是来自于出离的这个身，是来自于智慧的，它是来自于避免或者止息或者是出离的这种本质。那众生有智慧心，我们在藏文里面有讲到本质呢，讲是这个字叫做耶喜，耶这个是从无始以来，系就是了知知道。了解它的这个本质，从无始以来的这个本质，所以我们了解的这个现象的究竟空性以及一切相都对一切相的执着都是止息了。那这个在噶举的派也有一个名相叫做切达，那切指的只是心，这个就是自无始以来的这个凡夫心、平凡心，它其实是一种这个智慧心。那么它是因果对应的，那但是呢，我们要转化它变成这个离一切、舍一切的这个止息。那或许有人会问说，那无明怎么办呢？所谓的无明，吉田颂光祖师就是无明呢，就是一个非真实义。那即使在这个凡夫上，他的平凡心里面也有一个未染污的这个部分。那冈波巴祖师也提到说，平凡心、凡夫心是究竟止息一切的这个因。那如果说证到这个佛果的时候，自然就是舍一切、远离一切。那这种佛心的这个功德，在佛果的境界是远离一切的，也是远离戏论的，或者是说。它是舍弃一切的，这个它是出离一切的，它是这个佛果是出离的这个结果。
가주 공매기 되는 라마텐도 송 사바도 되는 자하게 주변텐도 송능라 nganzo ge tene namto de pena jasu jima la yebe zing la yebe tene jana ji re songdo de se de sane jamso chimbo ji jima la zing ji ji bu ji ye de ga na ja ji yue na ja ta ji nya sa de ge ja ji yue na ku korang ge samlo la ku papsa de yanda ji san ko phun ru do phun ru res ku papsa yanda ji yebe ge rewa jamne yine jamso jima na papsa khain ni mare koran 단단히 트디 톨로 주 밤에 레마도 대마이만 봐서 집때는 얘기 말와 땡이 치료를 풀어두잖아 다 당체 동해 용 강에 망부진 태용 거와 좀 생각하잖아 치료질지 요래 상황도잖아 근데 강에 강동도 그래 다 계시 밥사대 단지 나랑 풀사대 나랑 밥상 뭐만데 대인 바지 하고 송아이나 근데 그 갈래 가야매 봐 흘르지는 거 디가 내 주요와 디난신인도 나서 되네 심그란신 산제단 이시인 바지 타취 디가 내 송아이는 드네 지로는 신다 개제구에서 말와 달라마 고마든 소송은 아연도 어디인도 전에 대화랑이 내용 그렇게 송야다 등소 제대 단단 되네 자료엔되고 이시기란신 세알다 드네시는 모르는 게 있어래 안저변나 빵자 탐제마 잔네 제분 타르지만 내용도 전에 그 이시기란신 대가랑 모두 줄이는 거 봐서 디인도 산지게 사이 자료엔되고 그 이시기란신 훈이 봐 대가랑래 세 대송인 거요다
So like here, the additional point is that, so when this nature is there in our mind stream, then only one could able to realize, one could able to have the resultant state of abandonment or cessations after avoiding the abandonment. If that is not there, then we would not have this abandonment or the cessation. If the nature is not there, then we would not be able to have it. For example, if you talk about the nature of our mind, for example, like kind of if we don't know there is a water, or if there is no water under the earth, then there's no point that digging the hole doesn't make any sense, that we would not have the water at all. But after knowing, if you know that there's water underneath the ground, that then we try to put in effort, and after sometimes you were able to get the water from there, and it becomes the meaningful and purposeful even for digging the hole and try to get the water. Otherwise, no point. Even if you dig the hole, if there's no water, then no point. So therefore, what happened here is, like ordinary people like us, we don't really know there's such kind of cessations, which is the nature of wisdom within us. Then that's why we couldn't do that. So then what happened is, we are not looking within our mind. We try to look outside to find out the solution outside of our mind. So like, for example, like we have tried to do, look after the outer object, we try to find out the finance, and also the education, whatever. We try to look up and try to find a solution from the outside world. But whereas there's no satisfactions. More you go into the outer world, more you get into confusion, more you get into entanglement of the problem, and the endless of the problem, the dissatisfactions comes there. So, but in reality, what it talks about is everything, the nature of Buddhahood, or the cessations, or the wisdom is within our mind. It's not outside oneself, it's within ourselves. And also, like many of the Kaji masters talk about it, and also many of the like Mahasiddhis of the Tibet, Indians has talked about it. For example, like they talk about a boat in the ocean. If there is one bird in that boat in the ocean, what the bird does is that it thinks that there's somewhere to, when in the middle of the oceans where there's nowhere to land it. Then when the bird fly from the boat, it thinks that he or she thinks that so there is somewhere where I can land it. But what happens is sometimes there's nowhere to land it. They have to come back to the boat, thinking, not finding there anything to land on, or on the other side. So they have to come back to the boat. And after having all these difficulties, after all this hardship, flying here and there, try to find their landing, they couldn't board. In the same way, this is what exactly happens within ourselves. Our mind goes out and we get lost in this outside world. But ultimately it comes back because it's within our mind. It's not in outside. So therefore, what it talks about here is the point is that all the the cessations or the wisdom mind, the nature of wisdom, the cessation is the nature of wisdom, and this is actually within our mind. It's not outside our mind. So therefore it is stated that the nature like ordinary mind has these kind of qualities that the Buddha have that qualities. The qualities of the Buddha and our ordinary mind has the same qualities. So therefore we can talk about the resultant state of the cessations.
Yeah.
那另外再进一步再讲述这一点，当我们这个本质在我们心绪的当可以了知这个果报的这个出离，远离一切，然后止息。如果没有这样子的话，这个本质就不是真正的这个出离。那如果说举个例子来讲，如果我们知道说地下是没有水的话，不管你如何努力的挖井要取水是没有功用的。因为凡夫呢不知道如何是真正的出离，然后出离就是我们本有的这个智慧。我们凡夫不往内看自己的智慧，而往外追寻外向。
And the sixth verse is the Dhammakaya is endowed with the qualities, deeds, and activities. So usually what we state is that when you talk about the Dhammakaya, we talk about the permanent, which doesn't have the fluctuations of the qualities, deeds, and activities. So here what Lord Jigen Sumini state is that we should not think Dhammakaya as something empty, something is not like kind of functionable. So here, the three kayas are actually the same nature, has one nature. The one nature that is it is endowed with the qualities, deeds, and activities. So therefore, the Dhammakaya should be taken as some kind of functionable, some kind of quality.
这边我再继续讲，如果说你们往外追寻，然后去追寻外向呢，或者是说寻求财富啊、教育啊不能满足的，只会让我们更多的迷惘，更多有不满足。因为一切佛国的本质本就在我们心中了。在噶举大师来讲，或者是印度的大成就者都有用这个比喻，就是如果你在汪洋大海当中的一艘船上，有一只飞鸟，它想要离开，要远离这艘船，但是它在汪洋大海之中呢，找不到任何停歇息的这个地方，只能再回归到船上。所以相同的，我们的心，当我的心往外驰窜的时候，不在我们本心之中，一切在寻找。而且那个本有的这个智慧，却不知道一切这是在止息智慧的心之中，那早就存在我们心中的，是不假外求的。我们要知道心的本性是本具佛性，具足一切，所以可以看从这边提到的出离的这个果德是什么？因为我们本来就具足的。 所以我们要远离，要舍弃对外的这个追求。第六计，法身功德具成办事业。法身，我们通常把法身看成是一种空性的、无常的的一种特质或功德。但是吉田松公祖师这边讲说，这个所谓的法身并不是空无一物的完空，而是三身共同具有的这个本质，它有它的功德，它有它的行止，它有它的行业、事业等等特质的。
카카셰지기 디 줌센데 송영구요다 디 줌센 달라 페치 줌센 예점지 송영구요레 띠인도 당복 줌센 가르 송영구요서나 산지기 제반틀레 준체 메베기 줌센 달라 줌센 당보데 투치 준체 요마레 세테 송영구요레 타르도 산제 사나 투치 요송도 가이스나 단단가랑조 장축의 셈 검스도 전에 장축의 셈 세야때 되네지 인지 전부터네 심생기 동해라命내 실업 전부터네 동해 대담들에게 심체 탐제대 산재의 사람 국인 300일 로텔라 창축의 셈스는 소용 거로 인도 텐데게 창축의 셈대 단단 나랑주 주라 우주전에 제자에게 심체 텐데지 요초래 산재의 사람 텐데게 셈대 타르침베의 심체의 유들의 대유연도 전에 심지 대던 템백이 자와지 심지 대던 템백 레가지 랑시 흔들고 소지고는 중요한 거요래 텐데 인도산에 탈도 산지게 사나양 에너지 장주고 셈도 상마바 매와 차네 가야 매와 차문도 산지게 살아야 투지 무슨 소바 예바 인도산에 근데 라니 지부 시완양에는 레벨 건망 펜도 마 디된 거요래 주 투지 무슨 소바 예바 좀 생기
So here, some of the Vajra verses which shows some kind of like the result why the Buddha always stays there for the sentient beings and serve for the sentient beings unless and until there is a space, and also like unless and until if there is some samsara, the Buddha stays there. And the reason why is that some people say this when you enlighten. So then you enlighten, like kind of when you become enlightened, you enlighten like a kind of sometimes you go to some other like kind of the celestial palace, or you being in the some kind of the heaven, and you just relax there and you just be there. Or sometimes some scholars state that it's sometimes like when you enlighten it, like kind of lamp, when it exhausts the lamp, the butter and the wick, and what happened is it died. So in the same way, there's no functions or no activities for the Buddha and so forth. Once we enlighten, it's finished, it's gone. So what Lord Jigten stated is it's not something like that. It's because you're because of Buddha is having like kind of the perfect mind of the like the bodhicitta, that is to benefit other sentient beings and oneself. So like when we are like, for example, in the ordinary being, we have to try to forcefully bring that mind, the bodhicitta. But whereas if you think about the Buddha state of mind, it is not required, but it has a perfect nature of the bodhicitta within themselves. Since he has a perfect nature of bodhicitta, then it is possible. It is possible that Buddha can work for the sentient beings because of that the ultimate heart of loving kindness and compassion, or bodhicitta. Because of that, then naturally the Buddha would be doing some benefit for the sentient beings. Therefore, unless and until this space is remain, or unless until there is a cyclical existence, Buddha remains there for the benefit of all sentient beings, or for the sake of all sentient beings. So it's because of having this kind of perfect heart that is the Buddha Citta. So, and the remaining some of these Vajra verses, which is coming, is showing this kind of some of the reasoning there. That's all.
那么那个佛对于众生这个的行业呢，这个护念众生，这个利益众生，是一直到虚空尽轮回止才还是有的。那有人认为说，当我们真正得到证悟的究竟证悟的时候，应该知道这个天宫在天界那边很放松很享受啊。那也有人认为说，是当着你证悟佛果的时候，就好像灯灭了，因为一切都是止息的，就不会有任何的造作。那吉天中公主是认为说，不是这样子的。我们佛陀有圆满的佛智，因为跟他的菩提心来利益众生。那这个菩提心呢，凡夫是要费力把它营造出来的，但是佛陀的心呢是不费力，它本自圆满的这个菩提心的这个境界，所以他就会从事种种利益众生的这个形式，因为他本有的这个菩提心，他本质就是会利益众生的，一直到轮回止为止呢，会以利益众生而做种种的形式跟事业，因为佛陀有这个圆满的这个心。那接下来的这些寄颂呢，也是继续在阐述类似的讲法，就是如何这个来利众。第7，究竟究道佛地中亦有发心。8，心有常断菩提心亦生。9，一切所知皆为佛所知。10，一切法界皆许竟成佛。11，无因不得幻身之须见。12，所谓佛者缘起所成身。13，亦有愿行作说为报化因。14，三身无有相异本安住。15，一切诸佛本住众生。
단단히 가르친 거였으나 제단 산지기 투 고랑기 ngo고찬에 제 따와 탐제는 대바지 레드 요래때 있나야 늘저 신 템퍼처 체도 산지기 투 되기 참sam더니 따버다웨기 따왔던데 줄종 체벌다웨기 따왔던데 줄종네 그런 늘저 남 람텐제기 돈에 칼에 람 양타발라든 티조레스 빼는 아주 내리지 다와 가세 매지드는 창통을 빼가오요. 다크여드네지 사마지 사구요나 디인지 미지 사요지기 마사웨는 그 미관은 자와는 민족인지 미지 요와 차자. 덴데기 미지라 미지 때구요나 다주 미데 초게 사구레 자게 사구레 마돈 창게 사초 말에서 라와이나 영마라고 사로지기 말이다. 데다 콜라 당부 팅마 카셰 지라 오다 주란 디민디 인지 미지 사고레 이나 사야기 로바 추데 다 주란 양 창테스 베주 제교 단 창테스 통 덴데기 돈을 주란 디민디 사아슬라 덴데시는 간도 민지 때 쪽으로 다 인주디 민디 코기 드니 코베는 로트고 요레 딘 로드자네 문에 제나 다 지금 창기 민사스는 데스 캔사레데 이나양 강사 데라 갈레 갈레
补充一下这个吉天菩萨的入菩萨行论呢，也讲到这个尊者也常常提到的这一句，就是乃至有虚空众生住，愿无自世间尽除众生苦。这个是尊者经常就是天天做的这个回向。
탑랑 파따디 전에 탑랑배 두분으로 지게 토네야 라미양 타볼 체스바레 디인디 전에 투긴 제반 체게 따왔던데 존네 근데 텐데게 토네 누르제지야 멤버즈레스 워티인디 산지게 투긴 제발라야 체 메바던데 지레스 대송거래
And here the 8 verses, the Buddha's mind also echoes down to the views of the eternalism and nihilism. So what it states that since Buddha's mind is infinite, it has the infinite activities. So therefore, it also sometimes they utilize eternalism and nihilism in order to draw the sentient beings to the right path. So usually different kind of, because since Buddha has a infinite activities of the mind, since he has a like kind of infinite perfect activities, Buddha has his body, speech, and mind, infinite and perfect activities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind. So when we talk about the views or Mahamudra and so forth, usually when we talk about the Buddha's mind, we tend to think about the some kind of Mahamudra, or sometimes we think about the emptiness, then the middle way, Umapa, and so forth. But somehow it is not the only thing that Buddha did. Sometimes with the condition, with the situation, Buddha also tried to do many different kind of activities through following the eternalism and nihilism states, the views of eternalism and nihilism states down to the earth, and the Buddha come down to the earth and work with the sentient beings in a different forms and different variations. For example, like if there is one person who couldn't able to eat the food, or who couldn't able to eat the food with the wine, or who couldn't able to eat the medicine with the wine. So in these cases, Buddha can say that, okay, you can eat the medicine with this mind. This means just temporarily for the time being, he was allowed, or he was doing this. And after some times, slowly, he was trying to draw that person, the sentient beings, towards the right way. So Buddha is not forcing anyone or suppressing anyone to do what he likes or what he wants to do. So Buddha is there to help sentient beings in each and every part to bring the sentient beings in the right path or in a right method. So therefore, Buddha will not give the teachings of the Umapa or the middle way or the bodhicitta to all the sentient beings, because when we talk about the Umapa and bodhicitta and so forth, it will not suit for all sentient beings. So therefore, sometimes he has to degrade down. He has to go down to the earth and also deal with the sentient beings, which works best for the time and situation there. So therefore, in order to draw different kind of sentient beings, Buddha performed the activities in different ways, and even in the come to the point that is the eternalism and nihilism, to the view of eternalism and nihilism. So of course down to the view of eternalism and nihilism, and try to help sentient beings. So this is one point. This is also one point.
那么第8季心有常断菩提心亦生。那么这个佛心呢，无止境的这个做出无限的这个事业，使众生能够往上到正道之上，所以他有这个佛陀有这个无限的这个事业来利众，不管是他的身语意都是无量无尽的这个事业。那有人认为说这个佛心就是大手印啊、空性啊、中观，但这不只是说佛所做的事，而是在因缘法的条件之下呢，他甚至会做出一些类似常见或断见的事情，那下降到这个我们娑婆世界这个地球，用不同的形象与众生来帮助众生。有些人不能吃东西，他也有一些开许，有些人呢那个吃药呢不能配酒或者不得不配酒，他都会暂时的开许，他都会用一非常善巧方便的方法呢说你可以这样做，然后不会去强迫众生，不会去压迫别人去做 要特定的事情，而是一步一步的很善巧的来导引他们的，把他们放到正道之上。那因为你一开始如果讲说中道啊，或者是说菩提心呢，不见得这个都是合适众生的现在的情况跟他们的智慧的种种因缘条件等等，所以有的时候呢，佛陀也会放下身段来讲一些更基本的，或者合适他们的，依时应众生的这个性质，用最合适的方法来做不同的行业，那才有时候也可能会采取那个常见或断见的这个法来利益众生，这个都是佛陀的这个善巧。
강의에서는 단지 쉬바나지 산제 강라 강도리인도 자네 되네지 다 먼저 준주가 나는 혼남 제위로와 남주 나 되네 장춤 줘도 셈제네 다 마음발anga 되네지 강번 된게는가 강바 차워쇼 만면 된게는가 만면 차워쇼 삼번 된게는가 삼바 차워쇼 나 되네 배지 대삼 된게기 강사 등조는가 대사 유로와 티난시 혼남 제위도 자네 디도기 산징음으로 줘 상제로 있잖아 durja kangla nekapdam tartugi pentode tablam kandrejiga tone yungu yunaya dedan dedabu sultan tugres dona shejala yebegi ngobo tsemeba tangmebe tone tenin durja samjenna ta chawachi chogres temado kuin zeba namsuji namjun sanon korde ti chibu mare sungen zeba yang aranso namju sanon dande ya ti chibu mare kusung tugin zeba tanzola zeba tayeba tendesires na tesong yungu yore 티 인디스안에 무마트네 달로카시 응은데 tene ngarang su pagi jomen milare begi dudela tin chabje nobar mo chi pesa tene nobar mo chi sungchu ji na we kabla tene nguma ngarchen mo chi da khon namba ni ki parge tene dung ji so na so da de khar sung so sana tene lo mambo ji milare peyula tandangan zo ndi yo kharse paba shingun chuden yo din chuden la tene rimbuji lenje garchen boche tene jabjin garchen boche jabjin no bar mo ta khona batende din chuden de koral pins tene kollam gi nang tena chijin dus chepe zupo chama ma cha de wachi megi peche ta phya me tene ma jab ding ji pa zibo kolon dus tene khona batene kora je phen chid pe khongro chenbu yewan na ji ke ja de khon thong de jang pe ke ja 하남 되네 소자야 다 배치 남준도 되네 땡인도스 되는 가르치는 뭐 제기 람상 단딩 문에 장추 선배에게 주바 인스티그레스 되네 잡지 너버는 뭐 제기 가르치는 뭐 제가 약간 되시는데 장추 선배 주바 간대 인스티그레 코란드나 찍다 내가 직 차도서 야 되어지지나 인송송 되어지는 그 가르치는 뭐 레스 코긴 덴데치네 깨잡아 텔라테네 난주 코랑기 zubu든 통기요레스 난주 코랑기 zubu든 통인도 전에 난주 흰지제 용그레스 때인도 전에 나랑 졸라 흰지제야기 자와데 이게 소용도 와스 때인도 산제의 전주 선배기 자와던 졸라 ndamanda 요레스는 드리지 송송송 덴데치 가루 나스 때문에 다른 나랑 전에 공직을 따용도 전에 시제스 산제 자와지 있어야 덴데기 차네 그런 거 도섬제 이지고요 tendere tende treng chudende tenain dorson guba pardu sani chubane mashi.
So now the ninth verse is all possible phenomena perform the Buddha's action.
第九集一切所知皆为佛所知。
Here there are many different kind of talks and views here. 在这边的
所讲的这个不同的这个见解或者是不同的言论。
Buddha has a different kind of
那佛陀会行不同的身口意相对的行业事业。
For example,
一般来讲呢，佛陀的这个身体的造作就是会给予众生许多东西。那我们不会去想到说他现在在这里或在那里。他讲到佛陀的这个语业呢，我们一般想到这个佛陀给予法教，但并不只是这个样子的。我们进一步思维的时候，那我们这个入菩萨行论所讲的， 我愿我变成像一个房舍，让众生可以安居。愿我变成一个牛的羊的，大家可以吃，会像让大家能够跨越这个峡谷，能够通过河流。所以佛陀的种种事业是无尽无量的，我们是不可用凡夫之心来这个思维的，因为这个就是属于第二类的，这就是佛陀这个心识的第二个类的行业，就是证悟的事业。在这边呢，要跟大家分享一个故事。有一天，当有一天努巴仁波切到了德国的米勒日巴闭关中心，努巴仁波切曾经分享了一个故事。当他跟噶千仁波切有一次在一起的时候，当他们要去绕塔的时候呢，在尼泊尔的桑博纳这个地方绕塔。
What they saw was there was a dog which has been afflicted with the like a sore and scabies, and the dog was barking so harshly.
皮癣，那叫得非常的严重，要咬人。在那个时候呢，在讲说或许这只狗，或者是这个化身，这个转世。或者是菩萨的这个转世，或者是化身。那努巴仁波切就问噶千仁波切，怎么可能呢？因为这只狗这么样的凶恶，怎么可能是菩萨的化身呢？在那个时候，噶千仁波切讲说：“看看我们。”当我们看着这只狗的时候，那狗在叫的时候，他就给我们来修持安忍的这个机会。他也给我们来修持悲心的这个机会，这就是让我们能够如此修这个安忍跟这个悲心的这个机会跟条件。因此呢，
all possible novel phenomena performs the Buddha's actions.
一切所知皆为佛所知，所以我们应该要知道说，这种佛所知，他所展现的这种事业，可能是非常无限的种种的事业，所以不是我们可以用一般的理解来所局限的。那今天就讲到这里，来做回向。在回向之前，还是要提醒各位，星期五要提早半个钟头开讲，因为9点噶千仁波切就会马上有这个法教，这是舍卡玛的继续的法教。以此功德得证一切见，击败一切过患之敌众，生老病死杂乱之波涛，轮回大海愿度诸众生。祈求上师贵体生妙康，祈求尊生寿命及久长，祈求事业其志圆满盛，愿得无离上师其加持。犹如文殊勇士大智慧，复是普贤菩萨如是行，随喜彼等一切我学习，此功德等一切尽回向。佛陀三身得正之加持，法性不变真谛之加持，生邪坚固聚集之加持，如是回向其愿成就。于我以及一切有情众，三世所积善业以佛性，愿我于等虚空诸众生，速证无上正等觉妙宝，所知遍照遍智法之尊，缘起界处自在之功巴。 人间八支教法片有记，讲修愿由闻思修持之。殊胜菩提心妙法未生起者，愿生起；已生者亦不退失，其愿赞颂更增上。托巴拉朱伦杰，谢家滚子滚前去姐姐，等着拉王顿着，人间等把身的把写出的上公边，就三就人不切马街班。记住了，结巴娘巴me yang con ne con ever。你何讲的样子的？开始就是切个经了，你中国说。
那里就是这样的。
这个很简单，何讲的？
So see you all,
星期五见。
day after tomorrow.
那所以因为我们会提早半个钟头，所以在加州美西时间是早上7点钟，在亚洲是晚上10点钟开始。
Thank you so
非常感
much,
谢恳切，
Kanjala, and
以及堪布
your
尼的这
wonderful
个很好
translation,
的这个
Kambola.
英文口
Thank you
译。
for your precious
谢
teaching,
谢你们这
and we
个
will
珍贵
see
的
you
法教，我们2
again
天后
in 2 days,
再见。那提早半个钟
30
头开
minutes
始。
earlier than
谢谢各位，各位
today.
早安，各位。